Yeah,
If more
that's
people are,
bottom line. Yeah.
yeah, and one of the thing is that people are mostly men are focused on building stuff, right? We are more things specific chimps, let's just call it as we are,
Yeah,
and
yeah,
we
that's
just
what we
like
are.
things,
Stoned
right?
apes.
Yeah, we like to build stuff, we like to do stuff,
Yeah, yeah.
even if they are in digital world, and that's why we see more men in the space, for example, and we're out just wanting to build something fun between each other, and I see that most people want to cooperate between each other rather than fight each other or something like this. They're still being semi-tribal, but the tribes will survive because they cooperated with other tribes. This is what happened in the past 2000 years in our world.
Yeah.
Just many different tribes were cooperating and not killing each other in order for us to be on this stage at the moment in our civilization. The same will be in the metaverse. From the start, will be a little bit more chaotic, but over a long period of time, the chaos will go become smaller and smaller, and more people will focus on the other type of entertainment other than fighting. We'll
Yeah,
see a lot of different sports, a lot of different
it's
just
uh
fun.
it's crazy how thankful we have to be to our ancestors and the humans before us, because there was quite a few times in human history where the number of humans on planet Earth living got down to, you know, a few thousand, and if they didn't make it, we wouldn't be here today. And it's quite impressive that, you know, they were able to you know, survive, because those were crazy times. I could only imagine, right? And it's just insane that we're actually here today, and those our ancestors were able to keep us alive, and keep the human evolution and growth going forward in the future.
I completely agree with you on this notion, and
Hmm.
I think that many people are really not understanding the significance of your bloodline, of your family,
it,
right?
it it's all like all the strength and all the wisdom, and like every single human that was in our family, really all of us that ever came before us, runs through our DNA. You know, and it's a spiritual thing that, you know, I don't think a lot of people realize that there's really something special about humans and the human life and planet Earth and all the life around us, and it's all interconnected into one consciousness, everything. And you know, like you're saying, I don't think people really understand how deep um you know, family and DNA runs.
Yeah, I also think that our world is strangely connected to everything, right? And I'm talking about from scientific point of view, right?
Yes.
Like we are really in some kind of a world which we are seeing it as a air. For example, if you're sitting in front of me, we'll be having this air between each other, right?
Right.
But in fact, this is some kind of a substance, right? The oxygen between us is still there, and it's not nothingness, right? So it connects us through a way. And I was also reading a lot of studies about brain waves and how you can use different machines at this day and age to pretty much uh, capture the brain waves outside of the human brain. And if those brain waves, we don't really know scientifically how far they can go.
Hmm.
We have no idea, right? So as far as we can think about,
Yeah.
maybe those
Well, you
brain
can.
waves are reaching like 1 meter in front of me, but maybe they reach to the end of the universe, right?
I think they do, right? Because it also comes down to like this, and that was a really good thing that you said, and you explained it well. And it's even like this, like you walk into a room, like you can feel whether the energy is good in there or bad. You can
Yeah,
feel if two people just had an argument, or if a group of people just had an argument, or you can walk into a room and feel if everybody maybe just got done laughing and having a good time, and they're welcoming you in. Like you can we can feel shit. We have antennas, and the brain waves very well might be our antennas. And then it even goes as deep as, where do ideas come from? And do we own any of our ideas? I don't think so, because how did they come to us? I have no idea. They just no idea, no pun intended. But ideas, what are those? Those are aliens, you know? Where do ideas come from? How does a random little seed get planted in your brain and then can grow into everything that you see on planet Earth that's been built? It's nuts.
Provide my personal theory on
Mhm.
how everything is structured, right?
Yeah, let's hear it.
How our world is structured. So we first need to focus on the basics and to go upwards, when we're thinking about all those, the universe, multiverse, whatever we are having around us. The first fundamental thing we need to focus is that we have senses, right? We have all living beings are pretty much forced by nature in order to experience, right? To have those senses. Doesn't matter if it's, just the skin touch you have, or eyes, ears, smell, mouth, anything, right? This is all kinds of senses that we're having. And here is very interesting thing. Like, if the universe itself is forcing us out to have senses, doesn't matter if it's a human or a tree or some kind of a uh, any other physical form, like even a rock that
Right.
we personally think that doesn't have any feelings,
Yeah.
right? But
The
he can,
world wants us to know that it's
yeah,
here, but we are
but
also the world too, because the world has given us senses to feel itself. But it wants to know we're
exactly.
here, but we are the world though too at the same time, the
Yeah,
universe.
and
It's
some people
weird.
can, some people even can argue that the rocks do not have feelings, but they can still record what is happening on their surface,
Hmm.
which is some kind of a sense, right? Uh, maybe, you know it just makes sense in my head, right? But in a way, it's recording some kind of a event, just like you're recording some kind of a smell or some kind of a thing going in front of your eyes or hearing something. Like, so senses is also an event, right? Something happens which you are recording. So this is going deeper and deeper in our DNA, which is recorded through long period of time by our ancestors. So if our ancestors and us and our evolution is continuing to just produce things with senses, we can, you know, just take under consideration that the universe wants this, right? So, in a
Yes.
way, we exist in order for the universe to experience itself through multiple
Yes.
different perspectives and senses through a long period of time.
Got it.
And
That's it. Yes.
here is very interesting thing, right? We
Hmm.
believe that we have this one universe, right?
Right.
And we are thinking about how we are created, and you know what happened, right? What happened during the Big Bang? And here is very interesting thing. Um, if we are all created for because of the universe who wish to explore and sense, experience itself, um, and we have all of our senses because of this reason, maybe there is some kind of a uh, bigger thing out of this universe who created the universe. And I will give very reasonable uh, just idea on this. For example, time is universal unit of account. Like
Mhm.
this is something fundamental. Like, without time, our universe will not exist. Uh, our universe was born during period in a period of time, right? So time was existing before the universe. No, this is my personal humble opinion.
Right. No,
So
I
if
understand.
time was existing before the universe, this means that uh, time can be more connected to space, to the overall void around our universe, than to our universe itself. And our universe can be something uh, like artificially created, even.
Right.
And how this is possible? If you
Well,
have,
Yeah, go
longer
ahead.
period of time than our universe, this means that there is a high chance that there is other universes out there, but they're too far away from our universe for their light to come to us in order to be visible by our current technologies. Right?
Correct.
We
Correct.
we are able to, for example, hundreds of years ago, we didn't know that there is other galaxies in our universe, but now we have the tools to see. Maybe in a couple of thousand years, we are going to have tools that can see another universe, which is so far away that at the moment our current tools cannot visualize it or even detect it, right? Um, so I really think that there is very high chance that this is again just my personal speculation, but if there
Hmm.
is some kind of a godlike existence which created the world and we're living in this universe, which I think that it's artificially created, we can just think about what kind of a creature is, or whatever else is able to create this type of universe, such a big thing, and a godlike existence, or at least existence with on a higher level of existence than us, and have obviously much bigger capabilities and knowledge in order to create everything that we are having at the moment, right?
Hmm.
This existence can come pretty much from other universe, and no, this is again my just personal interest.
No, I don't think
Uh,
there's anything wrong with this. I like this
but
idea. That also makes me think about, like plant medicine. Are those the tools to, space travel and connecting with other universes and creatures? And then I also think about the simulation theory. Um, you have a thought on either of those two?
you can think about this universe as a simulation.
Mm-hmm.
Just think about it. For example, if you have some kind of agenda and you're higher level being with godlike powers or something,
Right.
uh, you most likely will not going to want to build something new and big in your own universe from where you came from, right? So most likely you will leave in order to go in some empty space where you will be able to conduct your experiment or whatever, right?
Correct.
And for example, you know, I like to read those Taoist books, and in some of they say that every single living being, when it's trying to or sensible being, well, when it's trying to evolve on a higher level of existence, he need to go through universal tribulation, like some kind of a you need to have some kind of experience which can push you to the next level, right? And I was thinking about it was just making a lot of sense in my mind that if you are trying to evolve and there is high chance of you failing, you're not going to want to uh, be near your home, right? You want to be somewhere far away. So if, for example, your soul explodes, right, and makes something like a big bang or whatever, you don't want your
Yeah.
own
Yeah.
home to be blown away by it. You're
Yeah.
going somewhere in neutral space where you can build your own universe. And
Right.
here is the thing, I also think that it's a pretty good backup one to from your own death in a way, to create other species which can sense everything around them in order to, in a way, to be more connected to the void and the universe itself, in order to be able to just experience and evolve, continue to evolve, because you need senses in order to evolve, and if you fail at once and you want to observe yourself and your mistakes through multiple different perspectives, maybe this is pretty good way to do it. Just if you fail, to just try again and to find your mistake why you failed the previous time, by not having one chance but having hundreds of billions or unknown amount of times, by just having so many different living beings or sensible beings who are able to experience. just evolve, die, try again, continue, evolve, and this is one of the connection with the bloodlines, right? We are all ourselves started from, this big bang that people are calling, right?
Right.
So we can trace it in a way, right? So there is also one very interesting thing from scientific point of view. For example, after the Big Bang, it was so hot, right? That only the strong, weak nuclears, the electromagnetism, and gravity was existing.
Right.
I'm not scientist, but this is what I remember at the moment. If
Yeah.
someone is listening and he understand, please correct me on this. But you had those four fundamental um, forces of nature. They are known as the forces of nature, right?
Correct.
And it's very weird. I was thinking, whatever exploded had the building blocks of life, which is the strong and weak nuclears, the gravity and electromagnetism in one small point,
Mm-hmm.
which is it was like they were fused in one. And when it exploded, they separated, just like atoms.
Yep. Yep.
And I was thinking, okay, you have the whatever exploded have the building blocks of life. Pay attention on this, please.
No, I'm with you. I'm with
It,
you.
it had the building blocks of life connected through electromagnetism and having its own gravity. Right? So this is exactly how you describe a human being on fundamental level. So this was always very interesting and fascinating to me. Why nobody is talking about this? It just makes perfect sense to me.